Hello, I am Dr. Vijay Singh on behalf of Dr. Amit Rao. I am with you to discuss about an introduction to tissue culture technique with their scope and alternative source of phytopharmaceuticals. This chapter is to give you a concise knowledge. It shall try to induce your curiosity for the subject. I will deliver very brief on the basics of plant tissues culture and its application in production of phytopharmaceuticals. The subject of plant tissue culture is very vast and describing its every aspect is beyond the scope of this chapter. The readers are advised to dig into reading materials that is available online and offline to quench their thirst for comprehensive knowledge and information on the subject matter of their interest. Module 1, Introduction to Plant Tissue Culture, that is PTC. Plant tissue culture exploits the capability of any plant part or a tissue to survive and proliferate if it is grown in controlled environment and in a media that has sufficient nutrients for it. Under such conditions, the cells of the plant part or the tissue undergoes multiplication. The manipulation of the media can be done to produce a new plant or a plant organ. The culture can be initiated from any plant part. The requirements of nutrition and media differ from species to species and also at times from plant part to plant part in some species. Definition and concepts. Plant tissue culture is a set of techniques for the aseptic culture of cells, tissues, organs and their components under defined physical and chemical conditions and controlled environment. It is an in vitro method. Two hypotheses has been put forward to explain the whole process of cell culture and regeneration, and they are plasticity and totipotency are two important differences between plant and animal cells and also the central points of plant. Biotechnology plasticity is the ability of the plant to alter its metabolism, growth and development to adapt to its environment. Two of the most important one are the regeneration of a lost organ from any tissue and the capability to undergo different metabolic pathways. Plant cells cultured in vitro show a high degree of plasticity. Totipotency means the ability of the plant cell to retain the full genetic potential characteristic of the mature organism. This makes the cell capable to regenerate an organism tissues and organs under favorable conditions. The term was first conceived by Herbert Land in 1902. Origin and developments in plant tissue culture. Plant tissue culture started developing as science when cell and cell theory come into existence. In 1838, Selden and Schwann proposed that the cell is the basic structural unit of all living organisms. The possibility of regenerating an entire plant from a single or few non-zygotic cells was proposed by Gottlieb Herbert Land in 1902. Gottlieb Herbert Land for the first time attempted to culture isolated single polysaccharide cells from leaves in Knopp salt solution enriched with sucrose. The cells remained alive for up to 1 month, increased in size, accumulated starch but failed to divide. It failed to grow a plant but laid down the foundation of tissue culture technology, for which he is regarded as the father of plant tissue culture. New techniques in plant tissue culture come into existence during the 3 decades starting from 1940s to 1960s. These developments leads to application of tissue culture in different spheres like cell behavior, plant modification and improvement, pathogens free plants and germplasm storage, clonal propagation and production of pharmaceuticals. In 1990s and early 21st century, the growth in the application of in vitro technologies continued. These techniques were tried with cereals and grasses, legumes, vegetable crops, potato and other root and tuber crops, oil seeds, temperates and tropical fruits. Plantation crops, forest trees. It is also widely used for ornamental plants. The establishment of the commercial setups for production of secondary metabolite of pharmaceutical interest and the generation of transgenic plants from transformed callus or somatic embryos has further widened the field of application for plant tissue culture. The readers are advised to find out the landmark discoveries that took place in the field of tissue culture for published literature. Now, we are proceeding for module 2, techniques in plant tissue culture. There are mainly two major techniques in plant tissue culture. First one is static culture, that is also called as solid agar medium. In this procedure, the plant tissue is grown on solid agar medium. This type of culture results only into a tissue mass called a callus. This callus is helpful maintenance of cell lines and also for carrying out the investigation studies related to organogenesis. Second one is suspension culture, that is liquid media. In this type of development and growth take place in liquid media. Here agitator, shaker, impeller are used to maintain the suspension of cells. In this culture media the growth rate is higher compared to static media. This also allow full control over the growth condition. Different type of suspension cultures are: first one, batch suspension cell culture. In this, the growth takes place in fixed volume of nutrient medium. After the cells achieve a certain desired growth, the entire culture is replaced with new one. It is a closed type culture. Second, continuous suspension culture. In this, the media is continuously changed. The cells are always kept in experimental growth phase. This can be of two types. Open type. In this, there is regular addition and removal of cultured cell. Closed type. In this type of system, cell proliferated till the completion of exponential phase. Then there is fresh addition of nutrient media and culture media. Type of culture. First one is root culture. Cottee and Robbins in 1922 first successfully cultured wheat root tips for a short period. From root culture, many genetically uniform roots are produced within few days. These are called colony of isolated roots. From continuous culture of isolated roots, the nutritional requirement of the roots can be studied. It is also suitable for investigation on lateral root and bud formation, initiation of combial activity and nodulation. Second is culture of shoot apices and leaves. Shoot tip culture may be described as a culture of terminal 0.1 to 1 millimeter portion of the shoot comprising the meristem, that is 0.05 to 0.1 millimeter, together with perimordial and developing leaves and adjacent stem tissues. By apical meristem culture pathogen free clones can be produced very rapidly, and shoot tip culture is very important method for vegetative propagation and used in orchids where the vegetative propagation is very slow. Third one is flower, ovary and ovule culture. Angiosperm flowers were first cultured by Lowry in 1942. By ovary culture, harpaloid can be produced. Dormancy period of seeds can be reduced by ovary culture. Rare hybrids can also be produced on ovary culture. Culture of ovules at or after globular stage produced mature seeds easily. Zygotes or very young embryos which cannot be cultured easily can be grown by oval culture. Development stage of zygote and young embryo can be studied in oval culture. Nutritional requirements of young embryo can be studied. In some interspecific crosses where embryo culture fails to raise the seedlings, oval culture may be effective method to raise viable seedlings. Point 4. Embryo culture, the method of culturing embryo excised from the seed on sterilized culture medium is called embryo culture. Henning in 904 working with Ramphnos and Cochrelia first successfully cultured embryo in vitro. It is the method par excellence for understanding the nutritive requirements of the developing embryo. It offers a means of achieving a much wider range of hybrid combinations that are potential economic value in agriculture, horticulture and forestry. By embryo culture, the dormancy period of seed can be shortened. Propagation of rare plants, haploids and introduction of disease resistance character are the other important benefits of embryo culture. Now, fifth, endosperm culture. Lamp and Mills in 1933 were first to report the proliferation of immature endosperm tissues of maize grown on medium containing extract of potato. It is unique because it supplies nutrition to the developing embryo. It is also triploid in its chromosomes constitution. Triploid plants are used for the production of seedless fruits and production of trisomics that are used for cytogenetic studies. In timber and fuel yielding plant, triploid shows better performance over their relative diploids or tetraploids. Now, sixth point, anther and pollen culture. The first successful pollen cultures were established by Tolkien in 1953 using mature pollen grains of Ginkgo biloba. Pollen culture has great importance in mutagenic studies. By pollen and pollen culture, many haploids plant can be produced very rapidly. In seventh, protoplast culture. In 1909, Kunstler isolated protoplast by mechanical method. The removal of cell membrane from a cell produced a protoplast. Two protoplasts are isolated from two parents from any plant organ and are fused with chemicals that induce fusion between them. These induce variations in the genes and plants are produced with the variations. From isolated protoplast, hybrid plants can be produced by protoplast fusion. Even those hybrids which cannot be produced by normal procedure due to sexual or physical incompatibilities can be produced by somatic cell fusion. From isolated protoplast, mutant cells can be selected and clonal propagation can be made. Genetic transformation becomes easy. Organelles isolation is easier from protoplast, especially in case of sensitive compounds such as mRNA and tRNA. Transfer of nuclei, plastids, mitochondria, ribosomes, tonoplast etc. is also easy. Protoplast can be induced to produce fertile test tube plants. Constituent of plant tissues culture media. A representative nutrients medium for plant tissue culture consists of following components. First one is inorganic nutrients. It constitutes of both the macro as well as micro elements. First is macronutrients. The vital macronutrients required in PTC are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium and sulfur. In the culture media, nitrogen is the most important micronutrient along with potassium. Inorganic nitrogen and potassium is vital for growth of cells of almost all the species. The nitrogen and potassium concentration should be about 25 millimole per liter, whereas for other macronutrients the concentration should be between 1 to 3 millimoles per liter. Micronutrients. The micronutrients required are boron, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenum and zinc. Iron and zinc are usually added in their chelated form. Iron is considered most vital. Chlorine, cobalt, iodine and sodium are also added infrequently in some media, but their actual utility in cell culture is not well established. Carbon and energy source. In plant tissue culture, sucrose is the most commonly used carbohydrate as source of carbon and energy. Its concentration is between 2 to 5%. Lactose, galactose, maltose and starch are the other carbohydrates that are used, but their efficacy is less than sucrose or glucose. After autoclaving, sucrose is hydrolyzed into fructose, which is more easily used by the cells. Next is vitamins. Vitamins are essential not only for natural development and growth, but they also serve as catalysts in the number of biosynthesis processes. They also act as factor for influencing cell growth and differentiation in vitro environment. Nicotinic acid, thiamine, pyridoxine and myo-inositol are the most common ingredient of all the culture media. Amongst them, thiamine is the most vital for cell growth and its concentration should be from 0.1 to 10 mg per ml. In small quantities, myo-inositol play an important role during the cell division and its concentration range between 50 to 5000 mg per liter. Other vitamins such as ascorbic acid, biotin, folic acid, pantothenic acid and para-amino-benzoic acid, riboflavin and tocopherol are also used in some media, but they have not been found to play important part in cell growth and development. Next is amino acid. The plant cells are capable of synthesizing amino acid required by them, but in some time for establishing cell or protoplast cultures, addition of some amino acid alone or in combination is essential. They provide an additional source of nitrogen that can be easily utilized. Adenine, asparagine, glycine, L-glutamine and L-asparagine are the most commonly used amino acids. The composition and concentration of amino acid vary from one media to other. Next is growth regulators. The addition of plant hormones as growth regulator of cultured cells plays an important role. They are required for growth and differentiation of cell in culture. Auxin, cytokinins and gibberellin are the main plant hormones. Auxins are essential for initiating production and growth of callus and cells. It is also required for the initiation of shoots and rooting. Somatic ambrogenesis to promote growth from shoot apex and shoot stem culture. Cytokinins are required for stimulating cell division, inducing shoot formation and proliferation of axillary shoot. It also restricts formation of root. Cytokinins also support RNA synthesis and stimulate the activities of protein and enzyme within tissue. Gibberellin increase growth of callus and help in enlargement of drop plantlets. They are responsible for plantlet formation from adventive embryos. Some other growth regulators are also included in tissue culture media like abscisic acid. It usually used with other to inhibit or stimulate callus growth and also to improve shoot proliferation and stall embryo development to at later stages. The ratio of plant hormones play vital role in growth, development and organogenesis. Next is solidifying agent. Very commonly, agar polysaccharide extract from red algae, Gelidum, is used as solidifying agent. The solidified media offer surface for development and growth of cells. In its absence, the cells and tissues get submerged into the liquid and die due to the lack of oxygen. The concentration of agar in media range between 0.5 to 1. Other solidifying agents that are used rarely are biogels, pitazels, gelrites and agarose. Other compound, some undefined supplement of organic nature are also added like casein hydrolysate, variety of organic extract, ground banana, coconut milk, malt extract, yeast extract, tomato juice, activated charcoal, etc. may be added for a specific purpose. Next is pH. An optimum pH, usually 5.7, is vital for cultured cell. If the pH of final media is higher than 7 or lower than 4.5, the growth of the cells is drastically affected. Next is composition of plant tissue culture media. The composition of culture media depend on following: plant species used for culture, material used for culture, purpose of culture, formation of callus, organogenesis, biosynthesis of secondary metabolite or any other purpose. The composition of a medium is therefore created according to specific requirements. The major type of media that are used very commonly are: first one is white medium used for root culture, MS medium, mirages and skog medium is used most commonly used for different type of culture. This was initially used to induce organogenesis and regeneration of plants from tissue culture. Next is B5 medium. It was formulated by Jamborg for suspension and callus culture. Its modified composition can be used for protoplast culture also. Next is N6 medium. Formulated by Chu, this medium is usually used for cereal anther culture. Next is niche medium. It was created by niche and employed regularly for anther cultures. Among the above mentioned media, MS medium is most regularly used due to versatility. Next is laboratory procedure. The basic process involves are preparation of stock solution of growth regulator. Plant growth regulators are required in very small concentration, that may be between millimole to nanomole. Due to this, their concentrated stock solution are prepared initially and thereafter they are added in diluted form in the medium as per requirement. Next is preparation of medium. Nutrient medium is prepared by weighing and mixed in suitable container. Autoclaving. The nutrient media is sterilized by autoclaving at 121 degrees Celsius for 15 to 25 minutes at 1.06 kilograms per centimeter square pressure. Next is micropropagation. Micropropagation or regeneration of plantlets. Selection of plant tissues termed as explant. It should be from a healthy, vigorous mother plant. The explant can be from any part of plant. The stages in micropropagation rate. Stage 0. Preparation of donor plant. The donor mother plant should be cultivated ex vitro under controlled conditions to obtain disease free and uncontaminated explant. Stage 1. Initiation stage. The explant is surface sterilized and transferred into nutrient medium under aseptic conditions. Stage 2. Multiplication stage. The number of propagules is multiplied by repeated subculturing to obtain required number of plant. Stage 3. Rooting stage. This process may start in the same media that is used for culturing, or sometimes the media needs to be changed for root growth. Stage 4. Asymmetization stage. Plant grown in vitro are now transferred to harden in controlled environment where humidity gradually changes from high to low and light intensity from low to high. Thereafter, the hardened plants are transferred in pots and to greenhouse. Here they undergo further acclimatization and then get ready to be transferred to field. Now, application of plant tissue culture. Plant tissue culture has application in fundamental research and also in commerce. It is widely used in agriculture, forestry, horticulture and also in field of pharmacognosy. Its applications can be classified broadly into two classes: application in agriculture, forestry, horticulture, application in pharmacognosy. First one is application in agriculture, forestry and horticulture. The techniques, namely micropropagation, clonal variation, genetic engineering, etc., have opened a vast avenue for application of plant tissue culture in the fields of agriculture, forestry, horticulture. A few of them are enumerated here under. Clonal propagation for chromosome doubling and induction of polyploidy genetic transformation. Addition or deletion of genetic germplasm, conservation and exchange. Multiply plants whose multiplication rate is very low. Production of genetically variable plants. Production of identical sterile hybrid species can be obtained. Production of virus free stock. Recovery of distant hybrids. The commercial production of plants used as potting, landscape and florist subjects, which uses meristem and shoot culture to produce large numbers of identical individuals. To conserve rare and endangered plant species, to cross distantly related species by protoplast fusion and regeneration of the novel hybrid, to obtain genetic variability, study the molecular basis for physiological, biochemical and reproductive mechanism in plant. For example, in vitro selection for stress tolerant plants, to screen cells for advantageous characters, example herbicides, resistance, tolerance. Now, application in pharmacognosy. In vitro plant regeneration and micropropagation, specifically of rare and endangered species of medicinal plants for research and cultivation purpose, all the application mentioned under previous heading is applicable for study of medicinal plant. Large scale growth of plant cell in liquid culture for production of secondary metabolites